Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie and happy 2025 to you all. I know this year has gotten off to a hell of a start for a hell of a bunch of reasons, but that's partly why I have not been uploading my content on the regular, mostly because I have had so much going on in my life the past several weeks that I've fallen behind on a couple of shows I've been following, a trailer I need to do a reaction video for. So I promise you guys, as soon as I get my shit together, I will start uploading content as soon as I can, starting with my film review for the first film of 2025, which I enjoyed very, very much and would actually like to see it again. Wolfman. That's right. Wolfman came out this past Friday. I finally had a chance to watch it earlier today thanks to the holiday weekend. And like I said, I enjoyed it very, very much. Before I get into all of that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen Wolfman yet and you intend to, do not keep watching or listening to this review as I will be discussing spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. First and foremost, solid monster movie. A fresh, fascinating new take on a classic universal monster character like the Wolfman himself there. I really enjoyed it a lot. I'll admit, in the first half, there were some parts that felt like they were dragging just a bit, but the second half of the film is when things got really good, really interesting, and really exciting. There are a couple of jump scares I saw coming, but then there were a couple that legit got me, that made me kind of go in my seat, you know? So it was an effective, scary movie. Great job to everybody involved, the cast, the crew, Lee Winnell for giving us another solid Universal monster film, because he did The Invisible Man 5 years ago, which I absolutely enjoyed very much too, and I really enjoyed Wolfman a lot too. So, like I said, I very, very much enjoyed it. I know a lot of people weren't fan of the creature's overall look and design. I get it. However, as he increasingly looked worse and worse throughout the film, the Wolfman, the main guy in question, oh God, what was his name? The main character, Liam or Glenn. Why am I blanking on his name? Christopher Abbott's character, the guy who's trying to protect his family, gets infected and becomes a werewolf. As he becomes increasingly more and more deteriorated and looks increasingly worse as the film progresses. His final form, I had absolutely no problem with it. I thought he looked gnarly as hell. Same with the other werewolf, the other Wolfman, which, by the way, wasn't exactly a plot twist or surprise that the other werewolf was indeed his father. I mean, there's really no one else it could have been besides his dad, who went missing in the woods and then ultimately ended up becoming a werewolf himself. Again, not really that surprising. But I still loved the fact that we got a werewolf-on-werewolf fight. You know, I was a little disappointed and let down at first because in that one scene when we see the guy go off to fight the werewolf while he's still turning into a werewolf, we hear like a tussle and then a werewolf squeal like it's been injured or died. He comes back, hawks up the werewolf's finger, and you're like, oh, I guess we were denied a werewolf fight. That's kind of unfortunate and kind of lame, but okay. And then thankfully, one jump scare later, the other werewolf does return with a vengeance to attack the family and then take on the guy becoming the werewolf. And then we get a proper werewolf versus werewolf fight, which was great. It was exciting. It was violent. Great, gnarly throat death, I would call it. The way it just ripped out his throat like that. Super solid. Gorgeous scenery. I don't know if they actually filmed this in Oregon where it's supposed to take place, but the scenery wherever they did shoot it in the woods there was absolutely beautiful and really foreboding too. You could totally tell or believe that there was something supernatural and unnatural living in those woods, preying on the few people who lived out there. So gorgeous location wherever they filmed. Don't know if it was in Oregon. I know it's supposed to be Oregon, but beautiful, beautiful location. And it was a solid monster movie. You know, we didn't have like the classic origin story with Lawrence Talbot and his family and him having a cane with a silver handle at the end. No, that's the original film. This was just a new movie showing us a new version of the Wolfman as the filmmaker saw fit to tell the story, and I thoroughly enjoyed it very much. I wasn't surprised at all that it ended with his wife putting him down like a dog, basically. You know, because whatever humanity he had left in his body, I think he kind of used his eyes to communicate, kill me, you know, and his daughter could tell that at least. And so they put him down for good this time. The other things I liked about the movie is that there was this great scene, and I will call this a twist because it really threw me off at first. You know, right when he gets infected, before he starts to lose his teeth and he becomes more and more animalistic, he hears this thudding noise around the house, and we hear it too as the audience, and it sounds like the werewolf trying to get into the house from the outside. And as he continues to follow the thumping noise, it becomes increasingly clear it's coming from inside the house, not outside. And it also turns out to be just a spider crawling around on the ceiling in a closet. And it made you realize, oh my God, his sense of heightened hearing, his excellent sense of hearing is starting to kick in, and he hasn't even begun his transformation yet, but he can already hear a freaking spider crawling around on the ceiling. And it sounded like loud, massive thudding to him. And I thought that was a brilliant use of changing perspective, a literal change in perspective. And I loved how it cut back and forth from the his family's perspective to his perspective. And my friend and I were talking about this. Humans look fucking creepy with their eyes lit up and you can't understand a word they're saying when they're unintelligible like that. From a werewolf's point of view, that was scary as hell, and no wonder the werewolf was defensive and trying to kill them because they were frightening to look at. But man, what a movie. I had heard some mixed reviews about this, but I thoroughly, really enjoyed it. I was so happy we got a werewolf fight. I was hoping we'd get a werewolf on werewolf fight, and we did, and it did not disappoint. You know, I loved how we got to see a monster go on a rampage, terrorizing people, a small group of people, or just a pair of people, but still a rampage nonetheless. And it was a solid horror movie, and it got me good a couple times in terms of jump scares. You know, I did see one scare coming when they start the truck up and they put the hood down and there's the dad werewolf, you know, right in front there. Kind of saw that coming from the trailer. However, there were a couple of other scares that did get me pretty well, so I was pleased for that factor as well. So I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I hope you guys did too. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you've seen it and you enjoyed it like I did. What did you think of Wolfman? Are you excited for other horror movies coming out this year? Or if not horror, any other big movies in 2025 you're looking forward to? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Have a wonderful rest of your night. I know things are crazy out there right now with the wildfires in Southern California. To those of you who live there, please stay safe and adhere to all evacuation warnings. Everybody else, I hope you're not too cold wherever you are in the country. I know there's a cold front on multiple fronts across the nation, so everybody stay safe and bundled up. And I hope everybody had a nice holiday break and despite circumstances of the world, had a nice start to 2025. Hopefully things only go up from here. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your night. Wolfman is now roaring in theaters. Have a good one. And of course, until next time, what's your favorite scary movie?